Hey guys, it's Danny. It is Phalaenopsis season, so you're gonna see a lot of this orchid on my channel over the next couple of months because 'tis the time to fully appreciate their wonderful blooms. Today though, I have 5 orchids, Phalaenopsis orchids, to share with you, which I believe you will love. If you're a true Phalaenopsis collector, you definitely should have these orchids in your collection because I absolutely love them. For most of them, I do have an ID tag. You will see it written at the bottom of the screen as they appear, but some are not registered hybrids or they did not come with an ID, so you'll see the tag no ID. If that's the case, rest assured you can still find them at the flower shop. Just keep your eyes open, but if you see an ID, you can search for them at your local nursery. Righty, so before we start though, don't forget to give this video a like if you end up enjoying it and you love Phalaenopsis. Also subscribe, I post multiple times a week. Just remember to turn on notifications so you never miss a video, but if you're feeling extra about it, do consider further supporting my channel by becoming a member, checking out the affiliate links down below, checking out the merch, or using the super thanks option below my videos. Right, with that said, let's put this little beauty back. She's not in our top today, if you can believe it, but she is gorgeous. Look at that flower display, isn't she? Well, we're actually gonna start with an iconic orchid which I believe should not miss from any orchid collection because she really is a little diva, but in the good way. And it's actually one of the parents of this hybrid. This is Phalaenopsis schilleriana. This is an orchid species which currently barely fits in the frame, but don't worry, I'll give you a better look. This is one of the most popular species used in hybridization. Maybe we can tell why? You might be surprised to hear that this is still a baby. She has more growing to do, and with more maturity come more flowers. Currently, I have 35 flowers on this orchid, but the full potential of this orchid is a lot more. Think hundreds, pretty much. First, let's address the leaves. It has a beautiful mottled foliage. This is absolutely natural. I didn't do anything to it. It's not sick. It doesn't have pests or anything of the sorts. Each orchid will be just a little bit different when it comes to pattern. There are a few varieties of this orchid, but generally speaking, schillerianas have a beautiful foliage, which makes them very appealing even if they're not in bloom. But the blooms, you guys. This orchid is known to produce a multitude of flowers on a very branchy and very long flower spike. Hybridizers want to obtain Phalaenopsis orchids which can produce a multitude of big flowers, and the schilleriana is the perfect parent to achieve that. Remember I told you that little mini orchid is an offspring, if you will, of this species? Did you notice how many flowers it had? It's the schilleriana heritage. Moreover, the flowers are fragrant. Yes, you've heard me right. If you didn't know Phalaenopsis orchids can be fragrant, yes, they can. More so the summer blooming species, that's a different story, but the schilleriana is also fragrant as well. To me, it smells like violets. Other people might describe it differently, but to me, it feels like a very soft, floral, sweet violet type of a scent. And it's absolutely spectacular when the sun comes out and there's a lot of light in my grow room. This kind of almost fills this corner that I have here, and it's absolutely spectacular. Now I have it displayed with a little bit of a help to maintain the flower spike secure because it is very heavy. Naturally, it will grow on a tree, kind of like this, and the flower spike would be pendant. But because I have it potted, the flower spike is in a bit more tension than it should be, and I'm afraid it's going to snap. It's really heavy, so you have to think a little bit about securing flower spikes when it comes to this orchid. But really, other than that, beautiful pink flowers that just look like dangling butterflies, don't they? Look at that, look how pretty it is, you guys. Since I have it staked, I don't get to see it like in this beautiful motion. Look at that. So not only beautiful pink flowers that are fragrant, but also nice foliage all year round. It blooms just like the Phalaenopsis you can find in flower shops, needs that temperature drop. So if you do good with the other flower shop Phalaenopsis, you should do great with this one as well. I cannot recommend it enough. You might not find it available at nurseries all of the time, but it is an iconic and very popular orchid. Most nurseries should have it. If they don't have it in stock now, keep an eye on it. It's one of those evergreen orchids. Just make sure you don't overpay for this orchid. Some sellers will take advantage, especially those that are private on eBay, Etsy, and other things. Just check nurseries for a normal price for your area, and you will be able to spot people who want to take advantage. But oh man, the schilleriana. What an icon. What a beautiful orchid. You need to have this in your collection and you won't regret it, trust me. Moving on to another orchid, which I believe is an icon as well. I've been wanting this orchid for so long and I was so happy when I received it. It's a little bit more obscure, but it's absolutely awesome. This is Phalaenopsis Orchid World Bonnie Vasquez. And the reason why I absolutely adore this orchid is, well, take a look at the pattern on the blooms. It's not something you will see with many other orchids. Now, this is a hybrid, but it's not a flower shop hybrid. Just like schilleriana, you will mostly find this orchid in dedicated nurseries. This one is a little bit more obscure in the sense that you will not find it available all of the time, but it is very, very popular hybrid. No way rare or anything of the sort. So again, if you like it, put it on the wish list and just wait for somebody to have it in stock. Now, this orchid's genetics are a little bit more complicated. You will notice that it does not create that beautiful arch of flowers. Since in its parentage we have more of the polychylous type of Phalaenopsis, which are very different types of orchids that don't produce as many flowers, but usually the flowers are a lot more thick and waxy, and they have these beautiful patterns and colorations. Many of them are also very fragrant. This one is not all that much. It has a slight fruity scent to it, even though it does seem to bloom for me in the spring after the cool down. Since it has that summer bloomer polychylous genetic, it can rebloom from the very same flower spike for quite a number of years and even create some offshoots or some flowers in the summer as well. If you notice on my orchid, I do have some very old flower spikes here. They're a little bit more discolored, a little paler than the new flower spikes. It's absolutely fine, but they still bloom. Do we see? They will not yellow right now. They might yellow after this blooming season, and at that point I can go ahead and cut them. But with this orchid, we don't really want to cut the flower spikes if the orchid is in good condition. Since it does not create a lot of blooms, it is not super stressed about blooming, just like a normal flower shop Phalaenopsis will be. And that's the beauty of the summer bloomers, the polychylous. They don't produce so many flowers, but the flowers they produce, they can hold on to, they can rebloom year after year from the very same flower spikes. They can be fragrant and they will not bloom themselves to oblivion pretty much like flower shop Phalaenopsis can. This is one of my absolute pride and joys, and whenever I see it in bloom, I am over the moon. So I really wanted to share it with you guys because I believe it is worthy to be in the most prestigious orchid collections. Is it just me? Do you guys like this one? I think she's gorgeous. So if you like it, put her on your wish list and be patient. It will appear in nurseries, I'm sure. It's just not really as common as the schilleriana, but it's not rare in any way. Next up, this is a rather new hybrid on the market. I have it for about a year and a half now, and it's just stealing my heart with this color combination. This is Phalaenopsis Yaphon Golden Leopard, and even though you might think, oh, what type of special orchid this is, it's actually very much a quote-unquote flower shop mini Phalaenopsis, but it is not available in flower shops. Again, you will find it in orchid nurseries. And I do see it a lot recently since it is a new hybrid, so there are a few individuals on the market. Hopefully the cross will be remade and it will remain on the market because it's just so rare to find orchids that are white and have a really beautiful yellow golden pattern on them, and especially a very spotted and leopard-like pattern like this one. It is not fragrant, and it looks and behaves identical to any miniature Phalaenopsis you can find at the flower shop. As you can see, mine is branching out quite a lot this year. It is a very young orchid, only bloomed once before. This is its second blooming, and it's already starting to look much, much nicer than last year. But I do suspect it will follow the same behavior as any other miniature Phalaenopsis. It will need that cool down in autumn to start its flowering season. It will grow in the summer. And yeah, basically, I don't really do anything special for it other than typical Phalaenopsis care. And I think every year it will get better and better. Imagine a multitude of these beautiful yellow white flowers. Absolutely stunning. One thing you should know though is that as the flowers age, this very intense yellow tends to fade away slightly. That's what I remember from the previous year. So if you don't mind that, then it's absolutely fine. It is still gorgeous. It will not fade away to oblivion. You'll still see it's yellow. It's not gonna go completely white or anything, but definitely it will not be as intense as it is when the flowers just open. But that's okay. Flowers can last again a few months on the orchid, just like any other miniature Phalaenopsis. And I do believe you should have this orchid. This color combo is very uncommon. You will not really find a lot of Phalaenopsis orchids with a white and yellow combo like this. So I think it's special, and I do hope it's gonna become more and more popular. Next up, an orchid which again I have to help a little bit because the flower spikes are getting heavy. This is a normal, typical flower shop Phalaenopsis. It does not have an ID. You might find it under some commercial names on the internet, but this is a pure commercial orchid hybrid, you guys. And look at it. It's not a typical white Phalaenopsis. Look closer. Look at the lip. Do we notice something? Oh yes, it is peloric. It's one of those big lip Phalaenopsis hybrids that have started to appear on the market. But the fact that it's completely white is just mesmerizing. It is such an elegant orchid. If white orchids were elegant for events, for weddings and stuff, these are even more so because the lip does not have any yellow or any pattern to it. It's just white. Everything is just white. It might not be as exciting as the other colorful Phalaenopsis, but man, is it classy. If you are into the minimalistic style, if you have that type of house that is not very cluttered and is very, well, I guess you know what I'm talking about with the modern minimalist style, this is the orchid for you. It is fancy without being cluttered somehow. Even though, look at the flower abundance, you guys. Oh my goodness. And again, does not take any special treatment. I don't do anything different for it. I've seen it quite a lot in flower shops. It's becoming more and more popular. White Phalaenopsis orchids will always and forever be popular, so I have no doubt this will be right there in the top. I see a bright future for it because it's just gorgeous and spectacular, and it can bloom on multiple secondary spikes coming from the main spike. Mine has 2 flower spikes and a whole bunch of branches. It is not yet even full potential because I have it only for a year, this orchid. I didn't even repot it yet. I need to repot it. So yeah, I didn't do the greatest job with this one. I had a really busy year, and still, look what it did. Look how it looks like. You look me in the eye, or pretend you are, and tell me this is not gorgeous. Because I won't believe you. This is gorgeous, and it's flower shop Phal. Again, be careful you don't overpay. Sometimes these orchids come in some fancy arrangements, which are nice, and they're great for events, but if you just want to take it home and put it on your table, make sure you find it in a normal pot, not in an arrangement, because those ones do cost a lot more. It should cost like any typical Phalaenopsis, and when you purchase it, it will most probably not look like this. It will not have so many flowers. It will have 6, 8 flowers, you know, typical flower shop stuff. But as it ages, as you care for it, it will transform into this wonderful, wonderful creature. Do not skip it. Just buy it. Trust me, in person, it's just so beautiful. I don't know how it translates on camera, but I'm in love with it. So beautiful. You're my little princess. I love you so much. And the last orchid I'm going to show you today is not a flower shop orchid, and again, it is an offspring of the Phalaenopsis schilleriana, and it displays a lot of similar traits. So first of all, this is, well, it actually has multiple names, so you can find it under the name Phalaenopsis bronze maiden, or another name that I'm missing, I'll put it in the tag. This is a Phalaenopsis money crust schilleriana. It is a primary hybrid between the schilleriana, which is a winter bloomer, and Manny, which is a summer bloomer. So again, with this one, you might have the surprise of some of the flower spikes reblooming without a problem year after year, or even in the middle of summer. I didn't necessarily have this with mine, but the genetics are there, and it really depends on the individual, because this one is right now available on the market as a seedling, not as a clone. So all of them will be slightly different. But can we tell why it's called the bronze maiden? Yes, the flowers are peachy bronze. And moreover, they change color a little bit. When they first open, they're a little bit pinkier, and then as they age, they become this beautiful rusty golden bronze pretty much color. Moreover, it is fragrant. Oh yes, it smells just like the schilleriana, and it's not faint either. It's the same intensity, same wonderful violet-like scent. And did we take a look at the foliage? Yes, it also has a beautiful mottled display on the leaves. Some bronze maidens will look even splotchier than this, and that's absolutely fine. You notice how the schilleriana was pretty dotted. Well, again, because these are seedlings and they're always a little bit different between them, they're not identical between each other, just like brothers and sisters. In the case of humans, they can look just slightly different. So mine, as you can see, has a thinner looking flower, but I did have a bronze maiden in the past with a fuller flower. You never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes the color will be a little bit more coral, sometimes more bronzy. It is a surprise, but they're all beautiful. They all are fragrant. And again, as they grow, they do have the potential to create a whole bunch of flowers. This is the second time mine blooms, and it's such an improvement from the first bloom, actually. I think I just had a flower spike with a few blooms. Now I have 2 flower spikes, they're branching. And knowing the schilleriana, I'm expecting great things from this orchid. Again, it seems to be a newer hybrid. It is definitely not rare or anything, but I'm not entirely sure when it's gonna be available in stock. There was an infusion of them on the market. I think you can still find it. If you see it though, I definitely recommend you get it. You will always have a beautiful pattern on the foliage, even if it's not in bloom, but the blooms are amazing. Oh, and did I tell you the lip has white on it and it creates such a beautiful contrast? Yes, I think it's wonderful. Takes actually the same care as the flower shop Phalaenopsis. I do believe the heritage of the schilleriana is great, greater than the Polychilus parent. So yeah, just treat it like you would treat a normal Phalaenopsis from the flower shop and you should be golden or bronze. See what I did there? I made a bad joke. So those were the 5 Phalaenopsis suggestions that I have for you, but I have a lot more Phalaenopsis. It was hard to choose. I have other suggestions as well, but I think these 5 right now are the best ones. But don't you worry, I have a lot more Phalaenopsis ready to bloom. I'm really considering making a Phalaenopsis galore video in which I show you all of my Phalaenopsis pretty much that I have in bloom right now. I have a whole lot of flower shop ones in bloom that are just spectacular. So let me know if you're interested in that video. For now, that's about it. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comments which of these orchids do you like the most? Which one you would be more likely to actually purchase if you saw? I'm really curious because I love all of them. It's hard to choose, but I'm curious what you would choose. Alrighty, so with that said, thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me today. Hope you have a great day and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. I'll see you all next time. Bye!